Here are 4 presentations for this amazing little lure that's so often forgot about that is going to help you stand out from the crowd this time of year when things are pressured. And number 4, you're going to be shocked at what this tube lure does. Well, we know that in the fishing industry, things go in cycles. What's popular, what's not, what's hot, this type of stuff. Well, I just got back from working a retail event for 3 days straight, and I bet I saw 100 swim baits walk out the door, get purchased by anglers. Everything from the little jig minnow, popular jig minnows, all the way up to the big $75 giant versions. And on the other end of that spectrum, I bet I saw 1 bag of tubes go out the door. Well, that presents a perfect opportunity for anglers to be throwing something different onto number 1, swimming a tube. I remember the first time that I saw this, I could not believe how good it actually looks. Anglers up on Lake St. Clair in Michigan have been doing this for a long time and been smashing the smallmouth, and that's where I first learned about this presentation. An angler up there taught me all about it. Works so extremely well. It glides through the water column when you put this insert tube head in there, glides so nicely, and the action is extremely subtle. Those tentacles give just enough of that lifelike appearance to it to really make it something that finicky fish want to come up, investigate, and hopefully eat, of course. And of course, you can fish this through all parts of the water column very quickly, drop it down to a certain depth, and reel it back. Now, some of the key parts to this, you have to make sure that insert tube head is rigged very straight, and then you don't want to reel it too quickly. You want to try to avoid it from rolling over. Presentation number 2 actually has to do just with the fall. And when you use something at one extreme, like the very light insert tube heads, you get that very slow spiral, which is so powerful for getting finicky fish to bite and to investigate also what part of the water column they are using. And then when you go to the other extreme of this, when you put in those really heavy insert tube heads, it just rifles down through the water column, very erratic. It just darts to one side or the other and can flash right by a fish and get those reaction bites. And then with these heavier tube heads, once it's on the bottom, you can keep popping it and just repeat that erratic action over and over again. And as anglers, we know that that erratic, unpredictable action is a very powerful way to draw strikes. Number 3 has to be one of my favorites, and I like to call it bulldozing. When you've got these very heavy insert tube head weights in there, you can just reel this lure along the bottom slowly and create puffs of mud, silt, and debris, and it draws the attention of curious fish. We've seen on this channel many times how curious bass are. They come in to investigate, and this bulldozing method does just that. And depending on your bottom composition, maybe you're going to have to use a worm weight. A lot of anglers will do something that is called mud puffing, and this uses heavy jigs, a traditional flipping type jig like 1 ounce or greater, and smash them into the bottom to create that silt cloud. This is that same idea. And some other benefits of bulldozing with a tube jig is you can feel what is down there really well, and of course you're going to telegraph those bites quickly because you have very little or no slack in the line. If you haven't done bulldozing with a tube jig, go ahead and give it a try. And number 4, you're going to be shocked right here. So this is a tube jig or a tube lure, soft plastic tube on a Carolina rig, and look at the float. This thing just floats down through the water column so slowly. It looks like it's in slow motion. It's not. This is in real time, a super powerful technique. It imitates this dying bait fish, some sort of, creature just dying, falling through the water column. Looks so good. And then of course when it's on the bottom, it looks great as well. But every time that weight, that Carolina rig weight, gets hung up on something and you pop it free and that lure shoots up off the bottom, you get this very, very slow falling action to it. Now, of course, that is when a lot of the bass are going to slurp it up. So as anglers, we have to be very aware of that and be ready for that bite, because oftentimes we won't feel it at first because we're feeling that weight down there. But if you've not tried a soft plastic tube on a Carolina rig, you are going to love it. And if you'd like to watch a video on something else that is really excellent for fishing pressured bodies of water, the jig Senko, go ahead and check this one out right here, and make sure that you go out and encourage someone today. You never know how you might just change their life. For the Bass Fishing Life, I'm your host, Steve Rogers.